So I'm practicing my short game today, and I wanted to bring you with me while I play a game that I like to call Tricky Trio, because I just find if I don't bring a game into my practice, I find I can sort of slip to doing the repetitive things, which can just get a little bit boring, can't they? I mean, I don't like to admit it because I do love to practice, but that repetitiveness of just doing the same shots or hitting the same putts can get a little tiny bit boring. So I always try and make a bit of a game out of my practice, and I also always try and have 3 ingredients, 3 P's when I'm practicing: purpose, plan, and performance. So my purpose of today's practice, and I always set this before I come up to practice so I just know what I'm working on and why I'm doing it. Purpose today is short game. I've been working a lot on my long game over the winter, and I don't want to neglect my short game. So I'm up here today to work on that, and specifically work on those tricky shots that we might find ourselves facing on the course. So that's my plan. I'm going to pick 3 tricky shots and play them and give myself a chance to experiment. Maybe I'll try different clubs, maybe I'll try different styles. And it's less about being perfect, it's less about focusing on technique. Perfect would be a bit of a stretch, wouldn't it? Less about focusing on technique, more about the performance side. So this is where that's going to come in too. I want to set myself a 6-foot circle, and the challenge is, from the 3 tricky spots that I pick, out of 3 balls that I hit, I want to get as many as I can within a 6-foot circle, in the hope that that replicates that feeling of wanting to get up and down when I'm on the golf course, and I might be finding myself in tricky spots, or if my long game gets a bit leaky, finding myself missing greens and wanting to do my best to get up and down. So I'm going to start with a bare lie. So let's go find ourselves a very muddy bare lie. So we found ourselves a bare lie, a muddy bare lie. And I'm just going to practice off these so that if I find myself here when I'm playing, when you're also this close to the pin and you're thinking, oh, if only I could just be on a nice bit of grass and do a little bump and run. But no, I found myself here on a muddy bare lie. I just want to put myself under that bit of performance pressure. So not only am I practicing how to play these, but being a bit freer with technique, I'm more focused on creating a good outcome, a bit of performance from this shot. So hopefully getting it within a 6-foot circle so that on the course we'd stand a really good chance of getting it up and down, rather than possibly risking thinning it through the back of the green and just letting the score escalate rather than being able to save ourselves. So with this shot, I've got my 54 degree and I'm just going to go really toe down. So that, again, this is something I've picked up from Dan Grieve, but also with my lesson with Jason. He always used to say, if there's no grass to feel, lift the heel. And that's something that I remember. It's the same thing, so toe down or heel up. And that's just a little mantra that I remember. If there's no grass to feel, lift the heel. So let's give it a go. Go. Oh, I'm not sure it's within our 6 foot, but I'm happy overall. I would take that. So let's go again on our second of the tricky trio from this bare lie. Oh wow, that was horrible. But again, not worrying so much about it's very short of that first one. But again, not panicking so much about technique. We're going for performance, thank goodness. So, 3rd time's a charm. Sit, sit, sit. That could be within our 6-foot circle. Let me go have a look. So from our muddy lie, we had 1 within 6 foot and 2 within 9 foot. So not quite within our 6-foot circle, but I would take them. If I found myself this close to the green, but on a bare lie like this, I'd take those outcomes. And I think, again, just by practicing, not worrying so much about technique, but more focusing on where I want to land the ball, where I'm trying to have the ball finish as well, to give myself a really good chance of getting up and down. I just find it helps me get a little bit more into performance mode rather than just practice mode. So for our second of the tricky trios, I've actually gone putter. Because although I'm, practicing short game, I was looking at this shot thinking, in reality, we're playing to a downhill green here, and I think my shot of choice would actually be to putt this. And I rarely practice these where you're putting through the rough or like through the grass. So I'm just going to give it a go. Again, trying to get within our 6-foot circle. I know looking at the green here, it's got a good bit of left to right on it. So I'm actually almost possibly aiming out. There's a little bit of a leaf there. I think I'm going to aim out towards that and just see if this rolls round. So I'm just trying to visualise the shot and how much to give it to get through the grass here, but then know that the green is going to do a lot of the work for me. Let's see if we can get her within a 6-foot circle. Go on, past our leaf. Sit, 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 sit. Okay, I'll take that. I think it might be within 6 foot. So we're within 6 foot, maybe a slightly generous 6 foot. No, I'm joking, we are in it. I'm gonna head out to that leaf again. God, I don't think that's going to get there. Oh, she's tiny. Keep going, keep going. Okay, not enough oomph. So we're going to go again and be a bit braver. Just wasn't brave enough. Right, come on, Ratcliffe, be brave. That's not. Go on. Look at that left to right. This is my challenge out the rough with putting. I just don't give it enough because I'm worried it's going to go flying on past. So we had one in, one just outside our 6 foot circle and one way short, dangerously short. So practice to be done. So we've got our final tricky trio, our final tester. Dropped myself here on the side of a bunker and I just want to have a bit of an experiment with this one because I've got my 54 degree, but I know, and it's not quite a tight pin, it's sort of the tightest I could find where it's still like a little bit of a tricky number to play. I've got my 54, but I want to have a little play maybe with my 50 degree because I know this is going to be a little bit more lofted because of being on the upslope. So I just want to have a bit of a play with this one, see if we can get the first within a 6 foot circle. If that works, we'll stick with it. Okay, I quite like that. I think we might be within 3 foot, so maybe we will stick with the 54. I've got a good guide here now. Go, go, go. Okay, I think it's still within the 6 foot circle, not closer than the first, but we would take these. It might be. Let's go have a look. So they were slightly further away than I thought. Not quite our 3 foot, but we'll take it. 2 within 6 foot, 1 slightly outside. And again, it's funny because obviously I feel a little bit like, oh, I wanted them within 6 foot, but again, very playable on the golf course. So I just love adding this little bit of pressure to challenge myself, to give myself a reason when I come back to practice to do those same tricky trios all over again and try and score better, especially on the first 2 where we only got 1 out of our 3 within the 6 foot circle. And it just mixes it up for me, although again, it can be repetitive to come and do those same shots because I've got that element of performance, of scoring, and that drive to want to get more in that circle than I did today. It keeps me coming back with that real sense of purpose, a plan to my practice, but also that element of performance that builds that muscle. So hopefully when I find myself in these tricky spots on the golf course, I might be able to get them within that 6 foot circle and if possible, squeak out an up and down. So let me know, what do you do in your practice to add that little bit of performance, to keep it fun rather than let it get boring? Let me know in the comments below and I'll see you there.